So when I think about my deepest, darkest moment, I think this is a great question, because I honestly believe your deepest, darkest moment should be unpacked with your therapist, and not necessarily a room of 40 people. And I think a lot of people go on social media and they share their deepest, darkest moments because they hope to get some sort of advice or hope. And they can instead be very hurt by what comes back, because your deepest, darkest moment needs to be held by hands that are trained to hold space for that. But what I can share with you, I'll spare you the details, I'll share with you a theme that I have worked to unpack over many, many decades. And it actually is an expansion of what Rachel talked about earlier. You know, how we treat each other. So if a woman is successful in any shape or form, any successful woman is going to take up space a certain way, you know. And she's going to be able to advocate for herself very strongly. And that is not always liked by people around her. So I want to talk a little bit about why it is successful women can actually find themselves the recipients of resentment, aggression, and hostility at their workplace because they are successful. And it seems so counterintuitive, and you don't expect it. So when it happens, it feels like you're being blindsided. But this is tall poppy syndrome, right? In Japan, they call it the tallest nail gets hammered down. In Australia, in Canada, it's called tall poppy syndrome. Canada, if you think about it, was a penal colony for the UK. So in a prison system, everybody needs to be equal. And if somebody has a toothbrush, something a little extra, it's going to be taken away. And so the person that stands out, the woman who gets that promotion, is demonstrating higher abilities in the world of work, to take this analogy to the world of work. Similarly, can find herself being cut down and having to defend against that. There's a great study done in 2023 called The Tallest Poppy. 4,000 people surveyed, over 100 countries. And almost 90%, almost 9 out of 10 said that they had experienced this, being cut down, when they are in fact performing well or doing well. And so how does this manifest? There's a whole sort of, you know, there are different gradients of this, right? I remember when I was young and I was in university and I was going to complete my course in 3 years instead of 4 because I was on an accelerated program. And my professor, when I walked into the room to talk to him about this, gave me elevator eyes, you know, the eyes that go like that, elevator eyes. And he said, "You are on our accelerated program, you?" And you know, and in that moment you feel a little bit of shame. You think, should I have worn this skirt? Are my heels too high? Is my hair too curly? And then you realize, wait, it's not about me. He's just showing me a little bit about himself. There is nothing about me and the way I look that disqualifies me from being on this accelerated program. And in the world of work, sometimes you win an award and you think your colleagues are going to be happy for you, and instead, you're ostracized. You know. So these are the moments that, yeah, have contributed to me feeling quite despondent, staying up at night, feeling disappointed. But I think anytime there's a crack in your world, it's an opportunity for the light to come through. And for me, just recognizing that this has a name, tall poppy syndrome, being able to research it, realize that I'm not alone, that other women and men have experienced this, has allowed me to deal with it.
Powerful, very powerful. How many of you are fans of Michelle Martin?
I love this panel.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And let's